Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to game number one in our best of three series between Black Magic and DeathTacticus. Should be a fun one. Still, once again, part of our ongoing 1v1 tournament. DeathTacticus going to be joining me once more for this particular match. So, welcome to another one.
Yes, this map is awkward. Let's just put it that way. There are only two low carbon tiles that are not next to each other. Scavengers out. All the iron is on one side of the map. All the silicon is on the other side of the map, and it's a glass colony.
Yeah, and you have to wonder how the dry ice in particular is going to factor into all of this. Neither player really seeming to want to jump the gun on getting down.
No,
I do wonder.
Don't blame them.
No, I don't blame them either.
You're
I'd
probably
want a
going to
good
see
look
a
at
lot
this
of
one.
expansives, would be my guess. There are no nukes. So making use of that cheaper shipping early until you can get a patent lab and get teleportation or water engine. I expect we might see both of those taken off the board if the game goes late.
Yeah,
But,
I am expecting expansive as well. I do wonder, do you drop next to, there's this water patch. Nope, neither player's going to take it. And in fact, that was a very strange place for Black Magic to drop, in my opinion, considering that the iron was getting crushed right away. DT is actually taking away all of the high iron this game. We'll have to see how this goes. Black Magic does get a bunch of water that he has crushed as a robot, seemingly trying to control that market, but cannot still quite push to that upgrade just on HQ level 1, as a robot often prefers.
right.
Interesting start. Interesting start to this game.
Black Magic does have all the steel he needs purchased, so right now it is clawing his way through. Well, he does have the upgrade, and he should not hesitate too much before DT punishes him. Takes that upgrade, hits HQ2 first, and I think DeathTacticus definitely has the better found right now.
Yeah, it feels much stronger to me. I was actually a little surprised that the found went quite as late as it did. I'm also a little bit surprised at the location. The big downside for DeathTacticus is that even though he did manage to get both high iron tiles, and that's all well and good, just fine, there's no nukes this game to seriously punish your opponent out of iron. In fact, wow, Black Magic has actually canceled out of his iron claim, and instead is going to take those closer to DT. This is a good move. Get in your opponent's way when you have the opportunity is always a nice thing to do. But the big downside for DT is he's just so far away from everything else, and Black Magic is a little bit closer.
Right, we'll see if the expansive claim advantage can make up for that or not. I mean, Black Magic's not that much closer.
No, he's not that much closer. And I didn't really like Black Magic's location either. There was this patch of 6 water tiles near a geotherm, near aluminum, down a little to the south. That's realistically what I would have liked to see one of these players end up in. You have to ship iron quite a distance, but you're so much closer to the rest of the resources, and still with strong adjacent water, that it feels like it really was potentially the second spot of this game in particular.
Right, you're going to be shipping no matter where you found. The question is when and what you want to be shipping on this particular map.
Absolutely. I do wonder, this is kind of interesting. You can see almost immediately these longer shipping lanes starting to cause a problem, because Black Magic has ended up taking a silicon tile, a high silicon tile, that does not have the ability to transition into dry ice. Meanwhile, DeathTacticus, as an expansive, his silicon tile, his high silicon, will be able to move into dry ice. Potentially an important factor this game. Silicon, of course, crucial to this game, as there are warehouses up at the colony.
Right, there are warehouses. The glass price started high, I believe. There are 4 warehouses right now for the colony at level 5, and the price of glass continues to go sky high, which is going to make DeathTacticus upgrades a lot more painful than Black Magic's.
Yeah, Black Magic, meanwhile, he has that half-price electronics that he's operating on for the upgrade. Made it a little harder. This factored into why he wasn't able to hit HQ level 2 instantly, but after HQ level 2, it will make every upgrade just a little bit easier to be paying that lower price.
Some first black market aggression by Black Magic against DeathTacticus, freezing out 2 of the DeathTacticus electrolysis reactors. Black Magic moving into one of his patented tiles, a single glass kiln by itself without adjacency bonus.
Yeah, it gets rid of that water pump. It was a medium water pump. So not super amazing for him in the first place, but you have to say that the glass itself, not all that great either. I have to wonder if this was the right call. Maybe getting into power could have been a bit more interesting on just one tile. I don't know. We'll have to see how it pans out. The other thing I don't like about it is the idea that you're keeping the glass price a little bit lower for your opponent. It feels like maybe moving into something else like food, which just gives them a little less debt, would have been better than something that actually saves them money on their upgrades once you sell down.
Right, so blackmagic right now has the debt advantage over DeathTacticus, so if he can get to his upgrade first, which blackmagic needs 8k for the upgrade, DeathTacticus needs 11. So that's quite possible. I would like to see blackmagic move into this power market because he's shipping. It will cover his shipping costs. He'll be able to hopefully pay off some of that debt, and then maybe that's the edge that blackmagic uses to work his way out of this interesting founding location.
Yeah, certainly is interesting. DeathTacticus, it's worth noting, did turn off his silicon quarry that he secured in order to avoid the very, very high shipping cost of that tile, even as an expansive player. That is a pricey one, costing him half a unit of fuel per second on average. So he's just saving himself a little bit of cash there, and in fact, already going to be moving into a geotherm plant that has been goon squatted. We'll have to see how that goes, because already sea level of debt for DeathTacticus. This has not been a straightforward game for him so far.
No, blackmagic is going into double solar panels on top of a cliff right here, which means, well, he's very flexible. He can go into solar panels, go into wind turbines, but that's about it for flexibility there. But each of these will be making 325 a second without the adjacency bonus.
Yeah, very, very nice tiles to have. Overall, that's going to easily cover his power cost. I wonder if he's going to add to it as well. DT did just pick up a claim for 6,000, but blackmagic probably not too concerned about letting it go. It was a high silicon tile that can be transitioned into dry ice very easily, but once again is quite far away from DT's base. So that's just kind of a little bit more debt stacked on top of DT right now, and has ensured that he's staying in that C range for the time being.
It looks like blackmagic, well, no, yes, he is going into it. He's just waiting for some of those additional silicon shipments to come in. He has a line, he has the goon in the middle. He's hoping to drive the price of power down before DeathTacticus can make any money off of it either. Or DeathTacticus does get up into HQ3 and immediately moves into a pair of wind turbines. So we're going to have, and another geotherm. We are going all power this game.
Yeah, really big concerns over the power of this game. Understandable with a robot and an expansive player combined with a lot of long shipping distances for both players. It makes debt a very, very serious concern with all these steel mills that have been active, all the fuel and extra power consumption from those shipping lanes. So DeathTacticus, he did manage to get back to B at this point with his power production, but only for a moment. Still eats that 12,000 interest tick. Knocked back down, but debt's about even for these players. DeathTacticus very effectively paying his off right now, 780 a second at the moment. And that's without the geotherm online.
Yeah, blackmagic delayed his solar panel, deciding instead to move into two farms, hoping to trying to make some money off of DT consuming food without producing food. However, it looks like DeathTacticus will move into a pair of farms himself. This transition for both players is very hard as glass is 217 and climbing.
Certainly is. Ooh, actually, that's interesting. So blackmagic kind of giving up on this debt idea for the time being. Power's already below 200 at the moment. Is just going to simply get aggressive against DeathTacticus's farms. His own iron, not really a concern for the time being. Already has enough of a stockpile. Not going to worry about freezing out that pair of tiles. One nice thing I do want to point out DeathTacticus has going for him is as iron gets less and less expensive as stockpiles develop, DeathTacticus will be able to transition having just one iron tile pretty easily whenever he would like. Meanwhile, blackmagic kind of stuck with the pair that's separated from his base for the moment. Why are we auctioning an optimization center?
The game decided it would be interesting.
I guess it will be interesting. Glass is going to be pretty valuable to optimize as just an immediate thing. We can also check. Whoa, all right, optimization center for 20,000 on over to Blackmagic. DT just going to give that up once it hits that point.
It is a free tile with a building on it that you don't have to pay for. That's all I can say, although the building itself would only cost
10,000, 9,000. Yeah.
9,000.
Cheap electronics, cheap-ish steel. Not too bad.
Blackmagic figuring he's not going to make power money anyway, so might as well go into a little bit more debt to get a building that could be useful, especially... Yes, he is optimizing glass right away. He's good.
But not putting down glass kilns just yet. Instead, moving into additional steel for the moment, which I find interesting. If you're going to go for that optimization, you likely want to start making money from it pretty quickly, and I'm not sure I see a great reason
how the
glass kilns come down.
One glass kiln separated from his base. I expect to see another any time now. He has 2 claims. Yes, there it is.
Yeah, perhaps struggling to afford it in particular. The steel price just a little high for this, and doesn't want to sell down his silicon to try and push there a little closer.
Right. Blackmagic also until recently was auto-selling steel.
Mm-hmm.
Which, somewhat of a questionable move, I would suppose, because you do want that steel to upgrade. Although he is at HQ4 versus DeathTacticus at HQ3.
Yeah, and DT has 3 steel mills down anyway, so it shouldn't be that big a deal.
What I would like to see Blackmagic do right now is DeathTacticus is shipping glass from his where his former wind turbines were, and there are magnetic storms. Blackmagic has identified this, purchased a magnetic storm, is just waiting for the most opportune time to attack. The only problem is that Tacticus has the production of the glass kiln split up pretty well, so with that faster shipping time, there's only 1 shipment of glass in the air.
Yeah, there definitely should be easy to keep 1 shipment in the air, and a player like DT might even be shipping these a little early just to make sure that he's doing smaller shipments and minimizing the risk of a magnetic storm landing on both of them at the same time. I am a bit curious about the fact that Blackmagic is actually choosing to buy into oxygen for a while. There was an opportunity for some time where DT was doing quite a lot of shipping of this water, if he wanted to turn his silicon on, things like that, where fuel was a bit of a concern. But Blackmagic never making that purchase into it, and now DT is managing to secure electrolysis reactors once again, just to shut that door before Blackmagic maybe even realizes that it's open.
Right. Blackmagic is the first to HQ5. He does have, even after that upgrade, a slight cash advantage, which is disappearing with the buildings that he's constructing. 4 more tiles, 4 more claims to, claim, I guess. And we'll see what Blackmagic decides to do. These 3 solar panels are making $1 each. It would be nice to see a rotation out of those. That's not very far to ship, so you time it up right, magnetic storms won't be that much of an issue. As we've already seen with Blackmagic struggling to hit DeathTacticus' glass shipments.
Yeah, which are now steel shipments, interestingly enough. DT really trying to power on through and turn out as much steel as he can to push through these upgrades rapidly. Water has become a bit of a concern, though. DT still has a very large surplus of water coming in, having already committed 3 claims to water production with the farms turned off and just electrolysis reactors online for the moment. Blackmagic also has a lot of water available, transitions into 4 claims as those are adjacent to his base, and he can swap them around whenever he wants. I do have a pretty serious concern about Blackmagic at this point, which is that I don't see any carbon available just yet.
No, Blackmagic has put down all of his claims. He didn't grab any dry ice, or I guess dry ice would probably have been the best to go for. DeathTacticus does have the one of the 2 lows in the elemental quarries. It's currently turned off right now. Blackmagic really needs to figure out some way, I think, to end this game before DeathTacticus is able to get to HQ5, because then DeathTacticus is going to have a lot more claims to work with, And the prices are still pretty high across the border for 1v1, so those extra claims will be a very big advantage for DeathTacticus.
Yeah, nice hit right here from blackmagic. He is attacking these water pumps, trying to make sure that DT just for the most part with also react line the high pump not quite enough seem to cover.
So we are unfortunately experiencing some lag issues. If you can hear me, they appear to be coming from Zoltar's end. Zoltar was cutting in and out on Skype.
I see. Interesting.
I
did drop some frames as well.
It appears like the game decided to catch up.
Well, DT managed to get a bid on that hacker array. I haven't heard anything from blackmagic just yet.
Stream,
I don't know if you can hear me either.
I can hear you. Your stream appears to be down. Stream is back. Unfortunately, the hacker array auction was won without any contesting by blackmagic because I guess he just lagged out and wasn't able to bid on it. So that's quite unfortunate for blackmagic, as he really could have used any sort of tool in his arsenal to make this buy on DeathTacticus earlier rather than later.
That's fair. To some degree, just the reality of playing a game across the internet. It is unfortunate that I was the one that lagged out there, but what are you going to do at this point? Both players still in it. Lag didn't manage to actually get rid of the game. I do wonder if blackmagic was able to tell what was going on while all of that was happening, but as it is, neither player has asked that the game stop for whatever reason, and so we are going to go ahead and continue forward. blackmagic still with a pretty serious advantage this game in a lot of ways. Huge cash lead. Still has the upgrades up on DT, but as soon as DT feels comfortable to take 5,
which he
that
does
could
now.
all change very rapidly. 6 more claims for him at this point.
Right, so this is where as blackmagic, well, I guess both players are now in C debt. If you could figure out a way to drive DeathTacticus into C debt while keeping yourself out of that C range, that's potentially one tool that you could get to potentially come back and
well, this solar flare
game.
could help out a lot, actually.
Yes.
And power price is already pretty high. blackmagic now generating an excess of power at this point, managing to pay some of his debt down. Meanwhile, DT is not until these wind turbines come online. So this could be a very big deal this game.
Right, those solar panels that we criticized blackmagic for, at least I criticized blackmagic for not rotating out.
I agreed with you, I just didn't say anything, but yeah.
Now helping him out a decent amount. He's in B debt versus DeathTacticus C debt right now. blackmagic has 115k and dropping at 500 a second versus DeathTacticus 160k in debt.
Yeah, I am a little concerned. There was a decision to move into an off-world market rather than a hacker array this game. And I feel like some of this might honestly be incidentally because blackmagic doesn't have any carbon secured. If he had, there was an easy option to move into something like electronics as a tool to abuse with a hacker array and try and push his cast just over the edge that he needed to get over. Hacker array is going to come now from an auction for 16,000. But instead, there's this commitment to this off-world market, pretty expensive building overall at the moment because of the electronics and steel prices, and the launches just aren't all that great. Between 25 and 30,000 is really all you're going to get out of this for the time being.
DeathTacticus, I want to point out, is also planning the off-world transition. He is going into thinking machines on this hologram patent lab up here. Either that or he wants to protect himself from EMPs, but they're 30k, so I'm not sure that thinking machines for that sort of additional bonus protection is worth it.
Absolutely, and thinking machines definitely, I think, the right call when there are network viruses available in the black market. If you're going to be looking at an off-world at all, network viruses pretty much guarantee that you will be hitting and getting hit with black market effects. And so very, very easy to pick up thinking machines in a game like that, where because you know the black market is going to be landing, you know that it's safe to pick that tool up that's going to reduce the effects of it. for your particular markets if the game gets to that point.
The debt situation has reversed. DeathTacticus is now in B debt, blackmagic in C debt, and DeathTacticus is going for what is probably the best patent on the map right now, carbon scrubbing. He is 25 seconds away from getting carbon scrubbing, and blackmagic without any carbon claims, still unable to go into either electronics or chemicals very effectively. He's definitely going to regret not picking up carbon scrubbing earlier.
I think so. And on top of that, we've actually seen blackmagic using this optimization center pretty heavily, which perfectly acceptable thing to do when you have an optimization center. Go ahead, use it. But the problem is if you don't make those chems, you are opening up this option for your opponent to go ahead and get into those profits, potentially even use the hacker array to exacerbate the situation. And suddenly the optimization center not nearly as valuable as it could have been if you had simply gone ahead and covered your own costs.
That being said, blackmagic is almost 50% of the buy on DeathTacticus, has 218k in the bank. It will be interesting to see if the Offworld strategy in this game, with the launches have improved. Blackmagic actually launching the wrong launch, should be launching Oxygen at 34, currently launching Food at 30, now 31.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, just 3,000, but once again, small advantages can make big differences in these games. So it would be nice to see blackmagic just a little bit more on top of his launches. Heading into virtual reality now is blackmagic. He already has that pleasure dome down. Even though he himself is a robot, he found a nice spot for the dome, and he's up against an expansive. So it's still reasonably profitable, currently at 184. And with power at $1. So nice little building to have.
Now, one thing, blackmagic's cash lead is going to disappear when DeathTacticus decides to force blackmagic to defend himself, which I imagine will happen. Yep, right now.
Yep, right about now. But even if that happens, blackmagic should still have a very solid stock advantage right now. Prices are about even because blackmagic is in significantly more debt, but DT still has to pay 2 times as much for the remainder of blackmagic's stock that blackmagic has already purchased in the DT. So still a nice lead to blackmagic, but DT seems to be catching up with all his additional claims. And teleportation.
Teleportation, that thinking machine's Offworld destroyed, but the repair cost is for DeathTacticus will be, well, it still kind of hurts, 60k.
Still hurts, yeah.
But a lot better than 120.
Yeah, it could be a significantly worse repair for him, but not a pleasant thing. 56% is what blackmagic is currently sitting on. Could even, at this point, DT does not have enough cash to be truly threatening after this Offworld market got blown up. So there is the opportunity to sell out of stock to close this one for blackmagic right now.
Yes. I'd be sorely tempted to do that. Maybe hesitate a little bit longer. Let's see, he sells out of 3. He's going to get an additional. Doing math on stream's always a bad idea.
Yes, it is. But he should get about $100,000 from that, and that's pretty much what he's short right now to finish up this game, although just lost a little bit in repairing this patent lab. But all of these decisions, we could say, are entirely unnecessary and just straight-up mistakes if you have the opportunity to end the game.
Right. There's still a window where he could sell out and DeathTacticus wouldn't be able to do anything about it, but that window
is closing.
Starting to close.
Yeah, DT making a lot of money. And I don't even know that it would be that I would criticize him for this, as DT is making money very, very fast. And it does open up this opportunity that if you miscalculated, if you just did something a little bit wrong, then suddenly you lose the game in a majority buy where you had a massive advantage. So I don't blame blackmagic for what he's doing at all. He still seems to have a very, very easy and safe victory from here because his Offworld market is still Goon Squad and easily protected.
Now, I wonder if that's because DeathTacticus just didn't notice the Offworld market constructing, because he's continuing
Maybe he thinks it's the patent lab.
Yeah, he might think the patent lab is the Offworld market. There are no spies on the map, so this might be a case where Black Magic identified what building was what, and DeathTacticus wasn't able to, and that decides the game.
Yeah, could easily be it just here. Blackmagic only about 40,000 away from finishing this up. The launch should finish it for us. I do believe once Blackmagic has that, he'll be on just about enough cash to finish it. The EMP might slow things down enough to save DT a little bit more time, but I don't see anything he can do from here to actually keep Blackmagic from winning this game.
No, we're just waiting for the fat lady to sing, to borrow an opera term.
Oh, Blackmagic, why did you just buy some of your own stock? Just sell that back, please.
Sell it now, then
just sell it right now.
Have to buy.
Let's just be done. It's over. We can be done. Oh, apparently not, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll have it in just a moment.
The longest this game will last is 40 seconds for this last shipment to go through.
Yep, that should absolutely be all Blackmagic needs to go ahead and clean this up. Power, I do want to point out, has gotten stupidly expensive, and there is a dust storm right now. So DT very, very effectively paying down his debt and is actually managing to drive his price higher and higher and higher.
Right.
But it's not going to be enough, but it is an amusing factor right now that Blackmagic has over $250,000 debt and will want to clean this up very, very soon.
Yep, in this case, no time-based tiebreakers, so don't have to worry about that.
All right, 100%.
Hit the buy button.
Cancel that launch. It's $375 oxygen. Did he sell his own stock? No, DT got to the purchase just barely.
And has paid off enough debt that Blackmagic no longer has that 100%.
Yep.
We're just sitting here waiting for this little percentage to
He's actually making money in power now, and this price just keeps getting higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. All right, the launch started up again. Just fine. Whatever.
It's an amusing finish. We'll give it that.
That it is indeed.
30 seconds, if not sooner, Blackmagic will have it. Just needs to sell everything, cancel the launch right now, click the little red buy button, and the game will be over.
I imagine we'll see a wait on this launch after the first cancel failed, though. You know,
yes. Understandable.
We'll be a little patient. DT has gotten stupidly close to winning this game because of power, by the way. I just want to point that out. Paid through all of his debt, started making money on power during that dust storm. He's been making an absurd amount of cash, and it was to 46% of the buy by the time that game got cleaned up. That's just insane.
Those dust storms and solar flares sometimes can really swing things.
Yes, they can. They can indeed. DT tried to take advantage of it, but just too little too late to actually swing the game around. If that game had been very much closer, though, that kind of play could easily have turned it. So, interesting little thing to see.
The play of the game, definitely Blackmagic making almost $500,000 on this Offworld, which was either unnoticed by DeathTacticus, which I would have to think because Blackmagic did not have thinking machines.
Yeah, I have to think that DT thought he was attacking the Offworld. That's the only explanation I have, but still potentially could list it as a mistake because network viruses were available this game. Even without spies, network virus still sitting here at 3K. It takes a whole black market cooldown to pick it up. So if you're sure you're hitting the right target, then I understand passing up on the virus, but you weren't hitting the right target. And there was the opportunity to keep hunting for that Offworld with these viruses if DT had been able to notice that he was not attacking something that was significant that game.
Yes. Blackmagic making good use of that optimization center, 12 optimizations to attack resistance 2, but like we said during the game, was never had any carbon, so it's sort of feeding DeathTacticus chemical money. Chemical
made over 200,000 total.
Yeah, 200,000 on his chemicals.
And that's with a few patents picked up as well. So that is a lot of income that DT got off of that. So maybe a little bit of a concern that Blackmagic was never in that market, but still did plenty well enough to go ahead and take the game. No taking that away from him whatsoever.
At the end of the game, there was no carbon for you to claim black magic, but when we were criticizing you for it, there's still one carbon up here in the north, and then all this dry ice down in the bottom.
Yeah, what about all this carbon? There's all this carbon here. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? There's carbon everywhere on this map. I don't accept that. I do not accept that argument. There's plenty of carbon. Especially, look, even if there's not carbon, these things, they make half an oxygen. Half an oxygen. Look at that oxygen price. I'm just saying, it's $314. That's all I'm saying. $314 oxygen right now. And you don't have to be making that fuel either. It's a fantastic tool. I think robots actually undervalue that a lot because it lets them keep the fuel price higher while also making oxygen very easily if they use dry ice. Mm-hmm. And that can be a very, very nice benefit for them to leave that fuel price nice and high for their opponents. This game, less of a factor once teleportation got picked up, but still, there's carbon on this map. I ain't going to listen to that today.